Did you know as a member of WBGU-TV, your kids become members of our Kids Club too? Benefits include special events like Kids Extravaganza, the Fall Spooktacular, and much more.
When human beings are able to be centered, when they're able to be still, when they're able to be in the present moment, that's where they find their happiness. Central to the last 30 years of my life is this cottage. I live with my husband. Both of us are university professors. I'm a writer and a photographer and a traveler.
I'm an artist in Findlay, and I teach at Bluffton University in the art department.
The cottage has some rather interesting qualities.
This cottage is about 15 by 30 feet. It's got all the necessities we need. We're lucky to have electricity. We didn't have a phone for the first 5 years. We have a refrigerator and a stove and an outhouse. And we don't have any internet here. We have a kitchen area as well. We don't have a sink. We don't have running water. We have a nice water pump outside. And so we bring water in. We heat water here to take a bath or a shower. I think it's just plain healthy to live like this. We've got good, clear water. We eat healthy. I think everything about it is very mentally healthy and physically healthy.
Living in nature is one thing, and I think really in the modern world we're all living in nature, but it isn't that you're living in nature. That preposition should not be there. Is that you are nature.
I like one of Jackson Pollock's quotes. A reviewer said to him, "Why don't you paint nature?" And he said, "I am nature." That all stuck with me out here in this cottage because you really feel you are nature when you're in it so much.
I realized by being here that my happiness was almost this natural flow between doing what I needed to do, doing what I wanted to do as a professional, and what this place invited me to do. It really is a creative space, and it offers a writer that kind of solitude. I would sit there and I would write, and then I would look outside. Artists, writers, poets gravitate toward nature. So for me, that is an absolute psychological necessity to have this available.
Living out here in nature, I think it somehow feeds my work. My work as an artist is fed by a lot of different things, but living here quiets me down a bit at night. My studio is right in the middle of town. I think somehow subliminally or subconsciously that affects my work, and my work tends to be more meditative.
When Phil and I decided to live here, what we really were intent on doing was living with just minimal. And we thought that this room would teach us that.
Over the years, we've created a kind of a formula for living here. And you get into this routine, and it works quite well.
Many people would like to live this way if they could. They don't think that they could manage this.
It's almost like living in a tent.
We only learned how to manage it over time. It took us a long time to figure out how to stay warm in here. It took us a long time to figure out how to manage the work.
The first 2 years that we lived in this cottage was really rough. It was a learning experience.
You have to invite other people into a simple life because you need help.
One of the things I enjoy about living in this little house, it's so different than the way most people live. And if we invite our friends out, it's an interesting experience. They usually enjoy it so much because it's so different. And I think when they leave here, they get a little bit of that feeling that we have from living here.
So much about this place is a gift. I feel like when I invite my friends to come here, it's a gift. We started to travel now since we don't have pets and we don't have children and we don't have to attend to a house. When we've gone on trips and we've come back here, we enter that cottage and a really amazing thing happens. We open up the door and we're shocked about how much stuff we have in this room.
Living here has probably affected me in a lot more ways than I really know about. It's a perfect place, I think, for creative people to live.
I arrive at my happiness when, of course, I arrive at the door because of the simplicity, because there's not a lot expected out of me to be here.
I think one of the things that living in a one-room cottage like this helps you to do is to be in the moment. And I think that in itself is probably the most important thing that living here does for us.
This place, for both Phil and I think, has not just been a gift, but it's also been a way to learn how to live.
Scenic Stops is brought to you by WBGU-TV. Support great local programming by giving now at wbgu.org/pledge.